I says, I will do all the paperwork, because I know how he hates paperwork. I says, let me go talk to our accountant, Stephen Strand, and see if he can help us set up a nonprofit organization. And that was 20 years ago. And the Southwest Wildlife Foundation was founded in September 29th, 1997, 20 years ago.
At the end of the little photo shoot, the Vice President of Scottish Power comes up and he shakes my hand with all of his executives standing around him and say, Mr. Tyner, I don't know what it takes in the States to do this, but you have your property.
Well, good morning. My name is Martin Tyner, and I'm the founder of the Southwest Wildlife Foundation. And welcome to our YouTube channel. We're going to talk about some of the things that we've accomplished and some exciting news and maybe a little not so exciting news. But anyway, I know I have to do this, so please forgive me. I didn't bring one of my wildlife ambassadors here today, but I just had to bring a critter. And as you can see right here, isn't that adorable? Let me get him over here where we can see him better. Get him up. There we go. This is a baby Cottontail that just came in yesterday, and we're bottle raising it. Its den got dug up by some people doing yard work. And not only do we have one, we have two. We have three little baby Cottontails that we're bottle raising currently right now. I've got more Cottontails, but they're older and they're getting wild and they're getting close to ready for release. And so these little guys are our newest arrivals here at the Wildlife Foundation. And I just wanted to kind of show everybody that everybody knows us for rescuing eagles and other large raptors, but we take care of native Utah wildlife. So we certainly take care of cottontails and jackrabbits and ground squirrels, and we've even rescued a wood rat. I've rescued scorpions and tarantulas. So if it's native wildlife, um, then that's what we do. We take care of it. And so let's go ahead and run our next little video clip to kind of show you some of the exciting news that's going on.
My dream is coming true. The development of a world-class Raptor Rescue Center. We have raised the money that we needed to build this amazing facility. And it's all because of you and your kindness. There just isn't words to tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you and what you have done and your support. You guys have been totally awesome. This is the facility that I designed for our Raptor Rescue Facility, and this is what we're going to build. This top section right here, that is 2 eagle flight cages. That upper building is 40 feet wide and 100 feet long, divided in the center with sliding walls that will slide into themselves that will allow the chamber to be a full 40 by 100 feet. Or if I have eagles that are not compatible and they need their own space, we can subdivide it and have 2 20 by 100 foot flight chambers for all of the eagles that we rescue. And then attached to the building on both sides, which is these facilities right here, these are chambers for hawks and owls and falcons that they will be able to come into our rehab center. We'll have them have the facilities available, and those will be there will be 5 of those that will be 10 foot by 20 feet, and on the other side of the chamber there will be 10 foot by 10 foot, so 5 10 by 20s and 10 by 10 chambers. This will in essence more than triple my current facilities that I have here at my home. And on this side, this is the back side, and this has 2 entry doors and 2 garage doors that roll up that allows us to enter the chambers and do the cleaning necessary for that. This building right here that will be attached to it, that will be our vet clinic and our reception area. And right here, this is a fenced-in area for smaller birds like songbirds that before they're ready to be released can have a flight chamber on both sides of the reception and vet clinic building. And so that's our tremendously exciting news. We have actually raised the money for this. Currently, all of the wildlife rescue has been done in my home for the past more than 50 years. And my kitchen table has been the vet clinic. Almost every room in the house has baby birds in it currently, almost, plus all of the animals outside. This is springtime, so babies are everywhere. And so it would be nice to have a permanent facility where volunteers can come and help us care for the sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife that calls Southern Utah home.
Well, that's my dream come true. That has been something that we've wanted to develop, and it's all because of you folks that have joined us and helping us work on this project, and your kindness and generosities, not only in dollars but also in kind. The people who donate food through Rodent Pro, and different situations. You provided rakes and shovels and brooms, and my goodness sakes, you guys have just done so much to help our organization, and we are so grateful for all of your kindness. Is there any questions up yet, DG?
Well, we've got one that just asks when.
When? Right now, we are working with the building manufacturers, the contractor, the engineers, and we are hoping to get the building delivered in late October into November. And if things go really well, we're looking at this brand new facility being up and running by this time next year.
Well, we do have some comments. I remember a wood rat named Woody.
Yes, Woody was marvelous. That's the first wood rat that I've ever raised, and he was just adorable, and we loved him to death. And we got him returned to the wild.
And we have another comment that says, nice eagle chamber.
It's going to be absolutely magnificent. We don't have anything like it available, facility like this available in Utah, and so this is going to be a critical facility, especially up and down the I-15 corridor, because this kind of rescue work is becoming more and more rare. So we desperately need these facilities.
And Christine Bailey says, so awesome. Give tours. God bless you and Susan. Thank you for all you do.
And yes, we will, by appointment, we will be able to kind of walk people through the facilities and see some of our educational birds that are non-releasable. And we will, in the Eagle Flight Chamber, we're going to put an observation window so that people can kind of peek in without disturbing the animals in rescue. And so, I just can't thank you all enough for all of this. Now, there is a little bit of bad news that I need to kick off now, and this facility was going to be put at our nature park, the Cedar Canyon Nature Park. The Cedar Canyon Nature Park was the property was donated to us by our local electric company, Rocky Mountain Power, to build a permanent wildlife rescue facility and a nature park for the children of Utah. And there's been some political problems. And DG, why don't you go ahead and hit that next video? When we hit our mark for building the 40 by 100 foot Eagle Flight Chamber building, I, in my excitement, stopped into the city offices in Cedar City and visited with the mayor and the city manager and a member of the city council, and says, hey, here we go. We've got the funding to build this amazing facility. Up until this point, out at the Cedar Canyon Nature Park property, it has been all about building human facilities, building the park. We have put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a 96-foot long pedestrian bridge, restroom facilities, picnic areas, campfire program areas, building the park. And I'll be very honest with you, it started to really bother me that all the money that was coming in was going into building the nature park, and we put off improving the facilities for the wildlife rescue for more than 20 years. And so the facilities I have here at my house, they haven't changed in 20 years. And we are in desperate need of this new facility. We need this more than people could possibly imagine. So, in my excitement, talking to the mayor and everybody, and says, here we are, isn't this wonderful? A couple of weeks later, we have a problem.
with Cedar City. In fact, it's kind of a big problem with Cedar City. I think all of you would probably agree with me when I say that in most communities across the country, and it doesn't matter whether it's New York, Los Angeles, Salt Lake, or small town Paraguna here in southern Utah with about 500 community members. It really doesn't matter, but in every community there is usually a very small handful of individuals, oftentimes not even elected individuals, just individuals, whom if you do not have their blessing and their support, nothing gets done. And unfortunately, this has been an issue with the Cedar Canyon Nature Park for the entire 20 years that we've had it. For those of you that don't remember, the Cedar Canyon Nature Park, the property was donated to us by our local electric company, Rocky Mountain Power. And we're ready to build this new facility. 2 weeks after that, I notified the city that we're going to start a conflict. Again, this is the conflict was with a single member of the city administration. It wasn't the mayor, it wasn't the city council, but because of this one individual, because of the political environment within Cedar City, the Cedar Canyon Nature Park is no longer a viable project. We just can't go on with the way things are. I know many of you have been excited. Many of you have donated and have helped us with the Cedar Canyon Nature Park. And it absolutely rips my heart out. Susan and I have been grieving for months with the loss of the park. I remember my first presentation to the Cedar City Council when the property was first donated to us, and we brought a big architectural concept drawing that was like 4 feet across and 2 feet high for a professional kind of presentation to the Cedar City Council, because it's, like I said, it's a completely different feel in Cedar City, and showed them what the nature park, what the whole concept of the nature park would be up Cedar Canyon. And after that city council meeting in Cedar City 20 plus years ago, I had a member of the city council come up to me, stick his finger in my face, and waved his finger at me and says, "Are you going to allow people to hunt on your property?" And I said, "No, of course not." And then he yelled at me that I was a damn environmentalist. And he knew that I was one of those kinds of people. And then I tried to explain to him that this is a park for the people of Utah. There's going to be families and children running around. And by the way, that the Cedar Canyon Nature Park property is within the city limits of Cedar City, and it's illegal to discharge a firearm within the city limits. There's no way anybody's going to hunt at the nature park. And then he turned his back on me, walked away, muttering, "Damn environmentalists." So I knew in Cedar City we were going into a very uphill battle. It took more than a decade to even get a single member of the city council or the mayor to go for a walk and even look at the park property. And so we have been doing battle with Cedar City for the past 20 years. But that's not the issues that are currently plaguing us. One of my major contributors said this, and you know, you guys are so wise, and you guys have helped me so much. One of my major contributors that I talked to personally about the situation, he said, and I'll tell you the same thing, don't look at this as the loss of a nature park. Look at this as a wonderful exit strategy because you need to get out of Cedar City.
Okay, that's our bad news. We are again, the political environment is not conducive. A project like this literally requires the municipality that you're working in to be a full-blown partner in what we're trying to do, and that has not necessarily always been the case with the project. But I have got some more absolutely incredible news that I want to share with all of you folks. So please, don't be mad. Don't be. Let's deal with. Let's look at this really awesome news. So DG, let's go ahead and hit the next video.
And so we started looking at property outside of Cedar City in the county. My home is actually in Enoch, which is butted up right next to Cedar City. And so everybody says, when you say where do you live, you say Cedar City because that's the larger community that is just south of Enoch. Enoch is a much smaller community, but my home is actually in the community of Enoch. And so we started looking at the property, seeing if we could find something that we could buy for our wildlife rescue. In fact, 1 acre to 2 acres is enough to build our raptor rescue facilities, our mammal facilities, even a small lecture hall so that I can do programs. Just 1 acre that would be suitable was probably going to be $100,000, maybe more, to do what we wanted to do, what we need to do to have the utilities and everything that we need. So as we're looking for pieces of property, there were 2 or 3 pieces that I thought about, and I thought I need to sit down and I need to talk with Enoch. I need to talk with the city manager and the mayor and the city council and everybody, just to make sure that we're not running into the same political issues that we ran into with Cedar City. And so I sat down with the city manager, and this was at the first of the year. This was in January. And I explained the situation. I explained the problems that we were having in Cedar City. I wanted to be completely upfront. And so they knew exactly, if they had issues with us building a wildlife rescue facility within the city limits of Enoch, I wanted to know now. I didn't want to know 20 years after the fact when we'd already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so I sat down and we had a long discussion. And the city manager is named Rob Dotson, a very nice fellow. And after explaining everything to him, Rob got a smile on his face. And he said, I've got an idea. And I'm going, okay, I like ideas. And he says, Enoch has 4 pieces of property. Would you please go look at these 4 pieces of property? And if any of these pieces of property will work for you, please come back and let's sit down and talk about it. One in particular is just a plain little more, about 1 1/3 acres, and the property is 5 minutes from my home, just down the road. It was a failed subdivision that the city acquired, and they have placed their animal shelter out there on a piece of property right there. They placed a dog park for people to bring their pets out and let their dogs run and exercise out there on 1 acre of property as well. And it has full utilities, everything. I mean, gas, electric, water, sewage. All we have to do is build. I went back and talked to the city manager, and I says, well, it's not big enough for me to build a park. And so if you are looking for me to build a world-class nature park like we were working on up Cedar Canyon. I says it's just not enough ground. And he said something to me that really meant a lot. He says, Mr. Tyner, says, I remember as a young child coming into your pet store and loving to just hang out in the pet store. And I remember that you worked with my dad at the university. And I remember you coming to my son's Eagle Court of Honor at no charge and providing a live eagle presentation. And you have done so much for the schools. He says, Mr. Tyner, Enoch wants the Southwest Wildlife Foundation to be headquartered in Enoch, Utah. He asked me to come to a city council meeting and to sit at the city council meeting and make a presentation before the city council and explain the concept of building a wildlife rescue facility on that 1.33 acres, and for which I did. Each and every member of the city council was very excited to have us be home based in Enoch. And then, Susan and I left, and they went into a private session, and they discussed the issue. And the next day, I got a phone call back from Rob Dotson, the city manager, and he says, "Can you come in? Let's talk about this." And I said, "Sure." And we sat down and visited for a few minutes. And he says, "The city council voted to approve the concept of you having the Wildlife Foundation headquartered there by the animal shelter and the dog park. We would like to lease you that 1.33 acres. How does a $1 a year for the next 100 years sound to you?"
Can you only imagine? $1 a year. And not only for the next 100 years, but we have the option to renew the lease 2 more times. And so the kindness, the enthusiasm for Enoch at the city council is literally overwhelming to us. We went in last week and we signed the lease. I gave them the $100, and Rob Dotson basically says, "Oh, you're planning ahead," and I says, "Well, I didn't think it was worth writing a check for $1 once a year," and so yes, so we're committed to the 100 years, and so that's the incredibly exciting news. We are relocating to Enoch, Utah. The community is extremely excited to have us, and the nice thing is the wildlife rescue facilities will be 5 minutes from my home. This is not going to be a world-class nature park, like I said. This is not going to be 23 acres with stream and waterfall and nestled between beautiful Navajo sandstone mountains that the nature park property is. But what this will be is that permanent wildlife rescue facility that I have been needing for the past 50 years. And with everything that you guys have done, you've helped us so much. And like I said, I've already talked to the contractors. I've talked to the building manufacturers. I've talked to the fencing companies and the engineers, and lining up a team to start this project. I'm hoping that in July that we can do an official groundbreaking ceremony. Now, the groundbreaking ceremony, I think it's kind of silly that you get bureaucrats and politicians and stuff standing in a line with a shovel in hand and turn over some loose dirt and say there's your groundbreaking. To me, that seems kind of silly. My idea of a groundbreaking for the new wildlife rescue facility in Enoch is that we're going to plant trees. In fact, a dear friend and one of my biggest supporters is Dave Gorley at Findlay Subaru with Subaru of America. When I talked to Dave about what we're going to do and he's quite excited, and he had indicated that he had a really good connection with a nursery here in southern Utah that provides trees. And he says, you go talk to them and you order whatever trees and as many trees as you need to plant the windbreaks around the property, and I will pay for them. And so Dave's committed to paying for the trees, and so we'll go through when we're ready and dig the holes and have it all ready, and invite all of you, if you would like to come to Utah and join us as we take. There'll probably be maybe 30 or 40 trees to be planted, and all we do is just set the tree in the hole and cover the hole with dirt. It's not just a groundbreaking, but it's symbolic of the Southwest Wildlife Foundation putting down roots in Enoch, Utah. And so that's our big exciting news that we're going for. A new facility, a new start. I feel terrible about the Cedar City situation, but there again, this very well may be a blessing in disguise, because that is going to be wanting to expedite and help us at every corner. And so this is an awesome opportunity for us. And I truly hope that everybody will continue to follow us and support us and cheer us on to get this new facility up and running. And again, at the new facility, it's not a park, so it's not going to be something that people can just come and walk through. But really, that we will have things set up so by appointment, you will be able to come to Enoch and take a guided tour by myself or one of my volunteers to get you guys to see the work we do and introduce you to our current wildlife ambassadors, and hopefully we'll have many more wildlife ambassadors to introduce you to. And so I want to open this up now to everybody. Please, if you have questions about what we're in the process of doing, please ask.
Okay, we have a question from Light Expeditions. Will it be quiet enough for the wildlife by a dog park?
Well, the nice thing is with the wildlife rescue facilities, they are all they're all indoor. So the Eagle Flight Chamber is a big 40 by 100 foot building. The Muses are 10 by 20 foot buildings, 10 by 10 foot buildings. And so the dog park really has virtually no impact whatsoever. In fact, it's actually kind of nice to have the dog park as our neighbors. Up Cedar Canyon, we had a tremendous amount of vandalism. And people, it was costing us to maintain the facilities there. I had 3 part-time volunteers to clean the restrooms and to deal with the vandalism and graffiti and those kinds of things, trying to keep the Cedar Canyon Nature Park, nice. Where at this new location, not only are these animal people, because everybody who loves their dogs or like to bring their dogs out and let them run and play at the dog park, and also the city animal shelter, and this is a no-kill animal shelter. They're very excited to have us as neighbors, and we have the Cedar City Police and the county sheriff coming to and from the animal shelter several times a day, plus the staff that run the animal shelter. So there's just a whole lot more security at the new location. So we one of the reasons we haven't built our wildlife rescue facility up Cedar Canyon was because of the vandalism issues, and we just didn't have the security necessary, but now we do.
Well, just during our meeting, we've had $405 raised, and some of the people are Fran Tucker, Jennifer Stone, an anonymous donation, Stephen Parrish, Nicholas, and let's see, we've got a few more. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling back because while he was talking, everybody was donating. Another anonymous donation of $50. Sherry donated $25, and let's see, I think our most recent one came from Dorothy Gallardo, who sent $100, and that is to cover your lease for the next 100 years.
That's so. You guys are just awesome. You guys are so amazing. My gosh, um, I couldn't ask for better friends, um, and and this is something that is truly touched my heart in the last few weeks. Is with the pandemic kind of winding down a little bit, and people are able to move around. Literally, the numbers of you from all over the world have come to Utah on vacation. Uh, I had a great example. I had this uh, beautiful family from Wisconsin. They were vacationing at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. They're were going to go east to the Petrified Forest and the Painted Desert after the Grand Canyon, and they called me on the phone. Says, "Are you close to the Grand Canyon?" And I says, "No, not really. I mean, from the south rim, you're probably 6 hours away." Um, and But I appreciate that you'd like to pop in and say hi. And the family called me back a few minutes later and says, "We'd like to come out and visit with you." And this very sweet family from Wisconsin came out and and hung around my house for a little bit, and we visited, and they got to see us feed some of the baby animals and get to meet Scout and Belle and Helen, and we just had a wonderful time. And that's becoming more and more a thing with people wanting to just stop by and I've asked people all the time. I says, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Um, you're on vacation and you're could be hundreds of miles away, and you still want to pop by and say hi. And the answer is that they see Susan and I and Cody and our wildlife ambassadors as members of their family. And they says that if they went anywhere else and there was family within a few hundred miles, they'd want to stop by too and say hi to their real family. And so having all of you guys adopt us as family really means the world to me, and I thank you.
We can add, we got another donation, this one from Carol for $25. And we should note that because we're part of the YouTube for Nonprofits program, 100% of your donations goes right to us. They pay all the processing fees, so 100% straight to us. And we have a question from Teresa. Will the valley be too warm for the bald eagles in the summer?
Well, actually, this is part of the design of the facility that I'm building, where literally the upper half of the eagle chamber is not walls. It's actually it's light gauge tubing, and they're set up as bars because we can't use wire because wire, if they fly against it, will break their feathers. So we use vertical bars, and so like I said, the top half of the building will all be open air, so we'll get really good ventilation there. And then on both the north and south side, where we have most of the heat, we will be building our rehab chambers, the 10 by 20 and the 10 by 10 foot chambers that'll run the length of the building, and those will be built out of cinder block, because cinder block is thermal neutral. It doesn't get hot. like the metal does on the metal buildings. And so this will be really stable. Yes, it does. In Cedar City, we're at 6,000 feet here at Cedar City, where this facility is going. It does. We usually get a 2 or 3 days where the temperature reaches 100 degrees, but with the breeze blowing through, it's not going to be an issue. If I were 50 miles south in St. George, Utah, where the potential of 114, 110 is common all summer long, that would be a big issue. But where we are right now, we're kind of in the perfect location to build this facility. These eagles and hawks and falcons, these are native Utah wildlife, and so they're actually adapted to deal with these kinds of temperatures. So they should be just fine.
Hey, Light Expedition asks, Martin, will you have any regular help or will volunteers be enough?
We will eventually, I hope that we will have full-time permanent employees, helping us run the project. It is Susan and I are getting old, and we certainly accept that. And there's going to be a time in the not too distant future that a lot of this is going to be beyond my physical capabilities, and we will have to have not only the facilities built in the near future, but the foundation funded to where the foundation can hire employees. But the vast majority will be done by volunteers, yes. And that is the way the foundation's currently runs today, by volunteerism. But you'll still have to have a facility like this. You will still have to have a paid staff. I mean, let's face it, there's nobody dumb enough on this planet to do what I do for free. And so that's a big part of setting up a trust fund with enough funding that we can basically run the foundation off the interest and never touch the principal, so that the foundation can continue to exist forever, long past the time when Susan and I are no longer here. That's our goal.
Andy asks, will the white bald eagle have a home in the new place?
I can't say for sure, but my hope is yes. Again, that's strictly up to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, but we will have the best facilities for him, certainly in Utah and maybe in the Western United States.
Tony asks, are you going to have surveillance cameras to add more security to keep all the wildlife as well as you all and your property safe? I mentioned.
Yes, we will have surveillance cameras put up, and again, surveillance cameras. We put up surveillance cameras up at the park in Cedar City, and they're more of a deterrent when people know that they're being watched. But there again, once people figure out where the cameras are, then they can work around them. But like I said, this particular piece of ground, unlike the nature park property up Cedar Canyon, is well situated. And like I said, the first thing that we're going to do, in fact, I've got a meeting Monday with the fencing company to fence in that property. And so that's the first thing we do is get that 1.25 acres fenced, and then we will start developing the property. So security is the top on the agenda.
Okay, Jay says, well done, Martin. Your years of work is paying dividends to wildlife we all cherish. They are the biggest winners. Wherever it is built, it doesn't matter as long as it is built.
Well, thank you. And I agree completely that you know the Cedar Canyon Nature Park was what I considered my gift to the people of Utah, and I've dedicated 20 years and like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we have had at the park, we have had weddings, we have had free campfire concerts that we provided all summer long. We've had Boy Scout Eagle Courts of Honors, family reunions, young men, young women's groups, drug treatment groups coming and using our campfire program area. And all of this was 100% free to anyone, to everyone. And and so that was what I considered, Susan and I. That's our gift to the people of Utah. Um, I can't fix it if the politics takes that away, and that's what we're dealing with. So let's so we can be positive, and we can do much of the same things with the small piece of property in Enoch. The loss of the Cedar Canyon Nature Park does not stop my wildlife rescue. It doesn't stop my wildlife and environmental educational programs. Those continue, and they'll even be better. Um, uh, Basically headquartered in Enoch, and we're incredibly excited. I'm just so grateful that Enoch City has stepped up, and it means a lot.
Well, we've gotten more donations. Russell has donated, another anonymous donation has come in. And let's see, TS donated to us, as well as another anonymous donation. So we're up to $514 without even asking.
Well, thank you, everyone. You guys you're so kind and you're so generous that it just, like I said, it's your support. I'm just the dumb old critter guy. Um, I can wrangle a wild eagle. I can put a feeding tube down the throat of a baby bunny. I've got those kinds of skills and expertise. But if it wasn't for all of you, and I really mean it, from my heart, all of you, literally around the world, you guys have demonstrated what humanity and what being human really means, and I'm so grateful.
We have a comment from Joe. He says, I'll work there. You can pay me $1 a year for the next 100 years. Love what you do.
And as we get a little further along, I might take you up on that. Fair warning. But thank you.
Jennifer Stone asks, what will happen to the nature park?
What will happen to the nature park? We're still working on that. Probably, and this is not a guarantee. Probably, what we will have to end up doing is we do need to recover the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've invested in the property for the wildlife and our wildlife rescue facilities. And I think in order to do that, I think we will need to sell the property. And so, that's a really, really hard decision. Hundreds of people every day come to the nature park. They walk from downtown Cedar City along our pedestrian pathway that we've got in there. They play in the stream. The people of Southern Utah love that property. And to be honest with you, this is our first public announcement as to what is going on. And if any of you would like me to go into greater detail, I don't want to. I don't want to depress anybody, but if anybody wants to go into greater detail as to what exactly is going on, you're welcome to contact me. There's my, gowildlife.org. You can leave a phone number. I will be happy to call you and discuss um, kind of what has happened that is causing us to move our project to Enoch. And so you're welcome to contact me.
Okay, Joe asks, could the white-bellied bald eagle be considered a possible ambassador, or is he unsuitable?
Um, again, that's a question that I'm not ready to answer yet. He has a lot of genetic problems, and whether he could be with his genetic issues, whether it would be too hard on him to uh, to gentle him down so that he could be handled, so he could be taken out and used for educational programs. I don't know the answer to that at this moment, and it would be basically when the decision is made as to what his future is. Um, then at that point, as a rehab animal, they don't get handled or at a very, very minimum, because we want them to stay wild. And so the white-bellied bald eagle has not had the opportunity to be handled and gentled and hand-fed and had the equipment put on him and go through that whole process. And like I said, with his genetic issues and problems, and he may be perfect. He may be a wonderful wildlife ambassador. That would be, I think, the best possible opportunity, but I can't guarantee that at this moment.
So I wonder if we should talk about our rallying call of Critters First when we were processing all these possibilities and decisions that we made.
Well, when the nature park project was donated to us, or our property was donated to us by Rocky Mountain Power, um, there was a real push. We wanted to get the park to the point where we had the infrastructure, where we had the facilities, where we would have restrooms, where we'd have access. This is why the bridge, and that we could build the infrastructure necessary, that we could then move all of the wildlife rescue to the park. But we had to build so much infrastructure first, and we've been doing that for 20 years. And again, up the canyon, uh, it didn't have full utilities up there, and there was just a lot of costs involved in making the property doable. Um, and so it has bothered me personally that we have invested in so much money in facilities for humans that the animals, uh, we have just had our very minimum facilities here at my home, and so uh, as the pandemic continued and everybody started making donations to us, and all of a sudden we're starting to see through social media and everything else, people, amazing people like you are going, here's $10, here's $20, here's some money. And some of our corporate sponsors have been more and more generous. And it was like all of a sudden last fall, it was like we have enough money. We could build the Eagle Flight Chamber, and we have a fenced area up the canyon that we have to redo the fencing, but it's something that could be done, and we could actually start building real rescue facilities, and then move everything from my house there. Um, and much to my amazement, all of you have continued to make donations, and we appreciate it so much that not only do we have the money for the Eagle Flight Chamber, but we are raised monies to build the smaller rehab chambers onto the Eagle Flight Chamber. And we, depending on the price of building and so on, we may have enough to build the entire project. And so we'll just keep pushing along there. Yes, that's the we have to be critters first, and so that's what we're doing. Um, if we sell the Cedar Canyon Nature Park, the money that would come out of that would bring that money back into the foundation, and that money will be used to run the foundation and to build all of the rest of the facilities we need.
Speak,
And so,
Speaking of
yeah,
the facilities has no name.
well, that is true. The facilities have no name, and that's something that I talked about a little bit. That if anyone has a great idea to name the Enoch wildlife rescue facilities, I would really appreciate that. You can again send me an email at go wildlife info at gowildlife.org, and and let us know what you thought. There was a suggestion from Susan, not my Susan, but Susan that's one of our contributors and one of our dear friends, that really touched my heart. For those of you who have read my book, know that my grandmother, my grandfather saved my life, and they are truly they're my inspirations. They are the reason I am who I am today. And my grandfather was named Ralph Waters, and my grandfather every morning when he would come in before going to work would wake me up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would say the same thing to me every morning when I was a young child. He would say, Martin, do good today, do good. And that was kind of the mantra. That was kind of my philosophy. In fact, that, to be honest with you, kind of that's kind of my religion. That's really all I need. Do good today, do good. And that's how I've tried to live my life. Well, Susan suggested to name the Enoch's Wildlife Rescue Center after my grandfather, which is Ralph Waters, and that was such a gift for someone to suggest my grandfather's name. Um, and I appreciate that. I think my grandfather would it would be against his principles to name a facility like that after him, because he was an incredibly modest man, and everything he did in his life was to help others. And so I I would love to put up a plaque for my grandfather at the new facility, explaining his story and his phrase, "Do good today, do good," and put that somewhere in the new facility. I think that would be wonderful. But if anybody's got an idea for a name, I would love that. It would
France
mean a lot to me.
France says it should be dedicated to your grandparents because without their wisdom, there would be no wildlife rehab.
And I agree completely. But like I said, I knowing my grandfather. Hello, Cody. Cody just came in. Susan just got here. Hey, dum dum. And knowing my grandfather, that wouldn't be something that he would want. He would really prefer um, that that he is remembered by his grandchildren and his great grandchildren, his great great grandchildren. Um, he was not a person that ever wanted any kind of accolades, and so he just me talking to you guys today about him. Um, I know my grandfather would be embarrassed because he was such a kind and quiet and gentle man.
Judy L says they better plan a bedroom for you in the new facility for all those night feedings.
Well, actually, because the new facility is 5 minutes from my house, we will still have the most critical animals that require, being fed every 20 minutes to a half hour. Those will still be here at my home. and the animals that are a little more stable can be at the rescue facility, and so it really kind of works out best because that way I don't have to drive into Cedar City and then up the canyon to our facility. It's just I just go down to the end of the block and then down the street 5 minutes, and I'm at the new facility. So that'll be terrific. Of course. Hey Sue, can you bring the baby hummingbirds over?
Okay, we're at our
Okay.
our hour mark, and we have had
Okay.
some questions of people that were asking about your upcoming cataract surgery.
My upcoming cataract surgery, I know I'm getting old and blind, and my upcoming cataract surgery, I go in for a second, I don't know, let me, oh, okay, here we go. Come on, baby. Can you guys see that? We love the baby hummingbirds. They are just magnificent. And this one's even smaller. That one's starting to get some size to it. Look at this one. Get it up where you can see it. There you go.
Susan's in her grooming
There you
unit.
go. Yeah. Susan just basically came from the grooming shop. So
I didn't feel like working all day, but I already had morning sketches.
okay. Well, so anyway, guys, we are so grateful for everybody. It's fun to show off the baby birds and the baby critters and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, this is going to be such a great thing. And like I said, if you do have questions after this live stream, please contact me. Leave me your phone number. I will be very happy to call you back and answer any other questions that you might have. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome.
Except we need still the word on your eyeballs.
Oh, my eyeball. I'm sorry, I forget. I go in on the 6th of July for one more pre-op visit to have them. I asked them if they would, since this is a once in a lifetime, if they would mind if I went back a second time and had them reevaluate and take all new measurements and just to make sure that I know the technician probably did a wonderful job and everything's probably great, but I just wanted to make sure that we took good that you measured twice and cut once, and they were happy to do that for me, and then about the middle of the month, I will go in and get my right eye done first, and then a week later get my left eye done, and hopefully the lenses that we have chosen will meet the needs, and I will be able to see my birds flying in the sky, and I will be able to drive and see the dashboard in the car. I will need readers for close-up, but I can live with that. So hopefully the surgery will go well, and I'll keep you guys informed as to what's going on.
All good?
I think we're good. If everybody else is unless there's a pressing question I need to answer.
Nope, just thanks. Always thanks.
Thank you, people. Thank you so much. You guys are terrific.